Michelle.
I feel buoyant.
And alive, Michelle.
That's amazing. I don't feel as though I've got together.
Hey there. Good evening. It is January 1st, New Year's Day, the first day of the year 2025. I'm so happy to be here to see you tonight. Now, last night we had the New Year's Eve Sparkle, Ignite Your Sparkle for 2025 event that I had with a bunch of people. It was international. We had South Africa, we had East Coast, Boston, we had Central Houston, we had Las Vegas, so that's West Coast, and we had Edmonton, Canada, and it was really, really good. So we sent out lots of good wishes, sparkled the intentions, and sparkled everybody. So that was so nice. It's Michelle Holong here. I am the Real Sparkle Diva, and this is the 35th episode. This is second season, and I'm so happy to have you here. I think, when we look back at 2024, it's with the gratitude of celebration of the things what we learned, even if it didn't seem to be such a grand year. Reflection is an important thing, I find, going into a new year, because we might think it was a not so good year, might think it was a fantastic year, but in all of that, what are the little snippets of nuggets of wisdom that you caught from each of the things, the challenges that came up? Did you find that you were growing? Were you more resilient? Did you get through the rough stages faster? Or did you find out you had such a good friend because you discovered you had support where you didn't expect to have support? Did you find out that, someone was there for you in the pressing times, and you discovered a skill you had because they pointed it out to you because you didn't realize you had that skill? Because sometimes, we have these gifts that we're not aware of ourselves, but when other people looking at you, they can see it because they know they can't do it. So what is it that you got from 2024? Just think a minute on that and reflect on the wisdom, of the good times. What were the big wins? What were the small wins? What were the difficult things that you encountered? And which ones did you get through easily? Why did you get through it easily? What were the things that you found that, it was a little more difficult? And were there breaks where all of a sudden the light bulb turned on, and then you could see the light? And what was it that actually got you to see that path? Because that little thing could be a feeling that you can use the next time something comes up, because sometimes the things that come to us are from our gut, from our intuition. Sometimes it's a knowing. And when you can tap into that feeling of what that thing was, then it might give you a hint for future challenges in the year to come. So those are things that sometimes are very subtle and we miss it. So can we identify that in your quiet time, thinking of the last year? Just a thought. Now, looking at the future, what is your word for 2025? If you had one word for 2025, what would that word be? And a lot of people will say, well, it's abundance, it's health, it's gratitude, it's purpose, it's success, it is the big picture. Instead of getting caught in the weeds, it's looking for that vision, the vision, holding true to that vision. It could be clarity, it could be perseverance, determination. For me, my one word, well, it's actually two, but it's checking in. So always for me, what I like to think of, you hear the term law of attraction. That's a universal law. What we focus our attention on, we bring more of that in. Now, the thing when the the situations come up and they can get to be feeling heavy. What happens then is sometimes we miss that. We miss that switch from feeling good to not feeling so good. And the thing with it is if we can check in with ourselves when we notice that shift, that feeling of, or a sinking feeling or a heavy feeling or where you catch yourselves beating up on yourself. The thing is to check in, to go, stop, let me think, let me check in with myself. How do I really want to be feeling right now? How do I really want to be reacting in this situation? How do I want to be showing up? What do I want to be doing? And that for me, the checking in for 2025, the reason I chose that word is if you can become more self-aware in your day to day, your minute to minute, your hour to hour, and you can keep yourself in a more positive state where you're looking at the cup. Well, looking at this cup, is it half full or is it half empty? So when we can stop ourselves and check in and say, wait a second, how am I looking at this? Do I want to reframe? Do I want to rethink? Do I want to take back control of me? Because we're all human. We all have feelings. We all have a way of looking at things based on what we experienced before, what we heard, what we were programmed to think or to do. Yeah, we are programmed to think. When someone says you should really, if it were me too, I'd feel that way, and you end up going down this thing because everybody's agreeing you should feel angry, you should feel sad, you should feel grief, you should feel bad. But then you go, wait a second, do I really want to feel that way? Because when we're out of our zone of happy, then we kind of put a lid on that law of attraction to attract all the beautiful things to us. Think about it, right? What you focus on, you attract. So if you're focused on the things that are making you feel bad or sad or incompetent, because sometimes you feel that way because you go, why did I, such a stupid thing to do? How could I? And other people are saying the same thing. Then you start to go like this. Then you're not going to be attracting what it is you want. What is it that your goal is for 2025? What is your intention for 2025? We had some special ones yesterday, which were to grow business, 10 times the value, provide that to customers. We had the goal of increasing income and abundance for the year. We had the goal of disease-free. We had the goal of joyful, bringing more love into the life that we're leading. We had the goal of world peace that I have always, to have world peace and to have people appreciating each other with the diverse backgrounds, the diverse, all this thing with gender, etc. My wish is that we don't care what the color is, what the gender is, what the whatever is, the language. All we care about is that we are human beings, that we have love in our hearts for each other, that we can get over our differences and find out what the similarities are and what the common goals are, and then go towards those to make everything better in our lives and in our world. So for 2025, what is your special intention? And again, for me, it is abundance, it is health. Without health, you cannot, in my world, have really wealth. Because if you have no health, you can't really, the wealth is happiness, the wealth is money, sure. The wealth is your well-being and your ability to help other people who you want to help. The wealth is that feeling of just love in the heart and sending out joy. So without health, if you're not healthy, you can't look after yourself. If it has to do with your legs, you can't walk. Well, then you need somebody to help you to move. If you can't breathe, well, again, you can't really help other people the way you want to help. So for me, really, the number one thing, if you want to be helping others, is to be able to be healthy. Look after your fitness, look after your nutrition, look after your, how your sleep, your habits, your stress levels. So if stress is an issue, look at how you can reduce the stress, how you can reduce the overwhelm. Maybe you need to prioritize differently. Maybe you need to organize. Maybe you need a quality management system in your business. And it sounds big, right? If you think about a system, it sounds really very complicated, but it really isn't. Brushing your teeth, as I say in my book, Sparkle and Shine, is a process. You, if you want to visualize it, it starts with knowing that you have to brush your teeth, the time. Once that trigger, the time happens, and it's bedtime, then you find your toothbrush and your toothpaste and you twist it off the cap. That's the next step. Then you'll put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, and then you'll start to brush your teeth. And then there's a timing wait period. So you're brushing, and that's a timer, the little circle in the flow chart. And from there, it is about, is it long enough? Am I brushing it long enough? If I am, then, and it's enough, then you stop and you move, you put the cap on, you rinse your mouth out, and that's done. That's a process. A bunch of processes make up a system. And then the system is how you get through to make sure you make no mistakes, and you have a way to keep consistently achieving the same result every single day, every single time you are doing whatever it is, all the processes in that system. When you have that set up for your business, then you have a foolproof way of assuring customer satisfaction, right? So if stress is because customers are unhappy, then you need to look at your system. If stress is because things are being forgotten in your process, then you still have to look at your system, see where the interaction of processes are happening, see where people are not maybe doing the handoffs properly. So the reason I speak to that is because my expertise is in ISO 9001 quality management systems, setting them up and designing them. But if that's what's stressing you out, then you need to fix your system, or you need to find a way to simplify. Maybe it's too complicated and you throw the system out because it doesn't work. And then your whole system, your processes are like spaghetti because it's all in a mess when things get hectic. So again, stresses can happen at home as well if you don't have a system at home. So all of these things, when you look at your year coming up in 2025, you can plan it out and say, what happened in 2024? Where were my stresses and my areas of overwhelm? And how can I make 2025 better? Because you see, what I want to do here is really, if we look at 2024, it's about looking and learning from the mistakes and looking and optimizing where we had the wins. And then it's also looking internally to see how did you weather that in terms of health, in terms of relationships, and then is there a way to make it better? And with relationships, there's this beautiful thing called bank, which is what I also help people with, which is using a simple 4-card system to understand yourself and then others. And so when you look at the year, look at all the components of the year. And that's where I talk about being CEO of you. Because when you can look at the different aspects of your life and you can manage that together, then you become CEO of you. When you can control the thoughts in your mind that are making you feel heavier and more dense, you then really become CEO of you. Because then whatever is happening in your life, you are not reacting to. You are able to look at it and not be pulled left or right. You're able to breathe and not be caught up in the trauma and getting all, with your heart pounding and your tears going and all of that, because you're able to just see, because you've done the work on yourself. So when things happen, you're not melting down and getting the should-haves and the could-haves and all that. It's just zen. You're able to just somehow have that clarity in your mind to just see what has to be done and then just do it. Much like how I expressed, if you've been on other episodes of the Sparkle Experience show, I've told you the story of how I had that bicycle accident in Amsterdam back when March 9th, 2021, just when Rome locked down the border with COVID starting up there. And when I when my teeth got knocked out, all I did was I was fine. I was just going, okay, just give me a minute. Let me see how I feel. I moved around. I could walk. I could feel all my muscles moving fine. Sure, I had no teeth, but I was not trembling. I was not thinking about anything else except let me check my body. Am I good? Yeah, okay, good. And then the only thought that came to my mind was, so this is how it feels like to want two front teeth for Christmas, except I need four because I saw four teeth on the paving stone in front of me, right? So that seriously was all the thought I had. And it's not just that I'm someone special. I did work on that for decades, over probably a decade, because I've been working on how do I manage myself, my thoughts that I didn't know I had, because they were whizzing around and I didn't even realize I had thoughts. That my mother said, Michelle, you are not your thoughts. You need to know how to manage your thoughts and stop them and control them. And so the things that you can do, there are ways to take control of your thoughts. And that's why checking in is my word for this year. Because if I'm not checked in and I'm just reacting and I'm allowing myself to go down that path of, getting mad or sad or whatever, and I'm not checking in and stopping myself to say, wait a second, let me check in. Is that what I really want to be doing right now? Is that how I want to be feeling? Is that what I want to be saying to myself? Is that how I want to be reacting? And if I don't check in, then I'll just go along that merry path and have the meltdown, right? So it's a way of looking at things differently, because we can feel justified in feeling mad at someone or bad about something, because you should feel that way. Someone tells you, yeah, you have every right to feel that way. Yes, I would be mad too, and yes, you should be angry at them. But really, does that anger serve anything? All right? Does the anger serve any purpose other than having you get rid of emotion? But if you really looked at it, do you have to get mad to get results done? That's a question, right? So 2025, the intention now is, what is it that you have as your intention for 2025? And we're going to do a little short sparkle today on the show. And so going into the sparkle, it won't be as long as yesterday at the Ignite Your Sparkle for 2025 that we had last night, but it'll be a short little sparkle. So to get prepared for that right now, what I'd like you to think about is, what is your special intention or intentions for 2025 that you would be so happy at the end of 2025 to be watching yourself with the results of that intention already materialized and in your reality at the end of 2025. So what is that intention, or the top three intentions that you have, your goals, your dreams for this year that you'd like to have, right? That you'd like to have come into play and into your life. And then the other thing I'd like you to think about in terms of 2025 is, what is your plan for 2025? Based on all the things I've brought up today, in your business, in your personal life, in your health and physical wellness, fitness, in your relationships at home, at work, in how you manage your home, right? What you do at home, because that's a system. Remember what I said. My book is called Sparkle and Shine, Get Your Brilliance Out at Home and Work, because they're not separate. We think of it as separate, but home impacts work and work impacts home. Health impacts our work and health impacts our personal life too, right? So everything is kind of it goes together. None of it is separate. It's all one thing. And if we manage the components, they will all come together beautifully, and you will have a stress-free life or be able to navigate it more easily, right? So, what is your plan for 2025? And, you know, what are your priorities? Because all you might have some areas that you want to prioritize a little bit more, a higher priority, some that might be equal, and then maybe some that are timed where you want know that you want to do this first quarter, that second quarter, something else third, and something maybe one thing the whole time, which might be your physical goals for 2025, right? So I know we may have guests, so if anybody on who is a guest today in the, although you're not on, if you'd like to say something, you can come off mute, ask questions or whatever.
Thank you, Michelle, for sharing these words of wisdoms and knowledge that are probably gained through experience, right? Depending on your age and where you're at in life.
Right, yes.
Yeah. So for me, my special like intentions, one thing that I realized like in the past is that I was just too busy. Yeah, I thought I was moving forward. I thought I was being my best self, but I was just too busy. So my intentions for this coming year, it's really consistency, being consistent with what I do, not trying to do everything, right? But really focusing on in regards to like what are my priorities and being consistent with those priorities throughout the entire year. That's one. The second thing is implementation because I see, when I reflect back in this past year, I have a good implementation for a month or two, and then it kind of fades away. Then I realize that I'm not doing what I thought I was going to do. Then I start that again. But so my goal is really being consistent and really good implementation. So not trying to do too many things, just doing a few, being realistic with myself, like what is doable, and then doing those few things really well and developing my skill sets. And the third thing is in regards to my special intentions is also being present in regards to what I decide to do at work or at family or through my implementation, but really devoting myself with my intentionality so that I could become my best self versus trying to meet everyone's needs and everyone's expectations and even myself and not really offering quality.
That's beautiful, Gonzalo, because those three words, it ties everything together, right? And then there's an awareness I hear within all that, that you've already done your evaluation of 2024 yourself, which is really good. You know, a lot of times we don't tend to look back at the year that analytically, and then we end up going into a very disorganized 2020, new year, right? Because it's like you never put anything into place to learn from and grow from the previous year, right? So this is awesome. So as we go into the sparkle, then we will sparkle that as well. Now, one thing I may add to that is just because of what sparkle does is, what is your goal in terms of so those are your words, right? In terms of the intention is around surrounding all the things you do to have the consistency, the what was the second one?
It was a implementation,
Implementation,
consistency, and then being present.
and then presence, right? So the thing is, now you're in business, so you can think of your big goal, which is what is your revenue goals or any of those things. You don't have to share it here, but you can think of those goals as we're doing the sparkle, right? And include that as part of the intention you hold right now when I ask you to think of your intention as we do the sparkle, right? Okay,
Absolutely.
because The thing that I said on the sparkle, like the sparkle, ignite your sparkle thing last night is I've had people when we do sparkle, when they have a sparkle session, what happens is they win money or they make a lot of money as a result of the sparkle. So I said, well, if you do that, you go out and you win the lottery, or, well, remember me, okay? Send me a little bit of, 5%, 10% or something, because I appreciate all appreciations, gratitude, right? Because as I said, it's all about there's a universal exchange of energy, and the more you have that exchange, is the more that comes back, right? So I had one person, and he commissioned me to do a painting, and he actually shared it on international TV. And what he said is the painting actually, since he had the painting, it 2.2 times his income year over year, and it 2.5 times his recruits year over year since he had the painting. And he was dead short was a painting. But I didn't make that stipulation at that time, right? I should have. I should have. So anyways, so I think if you did you have any questions or comments based on, you know, I'll try and answer any questions you have.
Not necessarily questions, but I think more like a comment, kind of like what you said in regards to your painting. Like the older I become, right? Because I'm 50 something years old now, is that you never really know the impact that something has, right? There's always positive, in my opinion, right? Positive energy that's
Right.
associated with things that occur, but oftentimes we don't realize that or acknowledge it, right? So the more we acknowledge something, whether it be a painting or a connection with a person or the word of the day, right? And create that intentionality, it has a ripple effect on many different levels. But sometimes we're so busy with just doing things that we don't, if we were to pause and think about the word and our intentionality, it could be applied to many things throughout our entire day versus just waiting to the end of the year and saying, well, did I meet my New Year's resolution? Right.
Well,
But
here's
if
a
you have that,
secret. Yeah.
if you have the focus
Yeah.
through
Right.
well, the word and anything that you do, you remember that word and you attribute the word to your intentionality, it has a positive effect.
Right. Well, the other secret too is the more you acknowledge where there's a miracle or where there's something beautiful that happens, is the more you'll get of that. Right. And the reason why you might think, well, the painting, how does he know? Like you're saying, it's general, how do you know that's what's contributing? Well, the reason we know is because I delivered the painting on December 23rd of that previous year. On January 15th, I phoned this person. I said, by the way, how is business? Right? And he said, funny you should mention that. I was just looking at my numbers for this year. And I have got 30% of the revenues I made all of last year already, January 15th. And I've had 8 recruits, and had 15 last year. And it's your painting. Because between December 23rd and January 15th, there's not much going on, right? And he said, since that time, it's So, anyways, yeah, my paintings do have energy. It has a sparkle energy in it too. So, and his painting was specifically around sales because he had had my paintings in his office for a while, and I took them back, and then the whole energy dropped in his office. And then he came back to me a month later and he says, I need to commission you to do a painting for me. And I said, what's happening? He says, well, he has all these clients and he can't believe how many clients, but nobody is, I said, buying? He says, yeah, nobody is buying. I said, oh, so you want me to do a painting so that you can increase sales, you can have amazing referrals and delighted, happy paying clients and overcome objections and, increase conversions and all, have profitable sales and so forth. He says, yeah, all of that. So that's what the painting had. So, you know,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And then I think if we look at, because sometimes like, at least I use my words.
right,
I think, well, it's all phony baloney stuff, right? It's like like it's mystical stuff, right?
right.
In reality, if you look at big organizations, right, they're aware of that because they have research in their own business that color matters, energy matters, words matter, right? And they when they do their layouts of their offices and buildings, there's a certain intentionality that goes along with it.
Yeah, the
So
feng shui, you're right.
yeah,
The
I'm a strong believer
right.
now that I'm older of all the positive energy that's associated with paintings and symbolism.
Right, and there's a metaphysical, there's also the uh quantum physics, right? And the quantum energy, which is this how this sparkle all works. That's what I say. It's not something that is has anything to do with religion. It is all about quantum physics and the fact that you have the observer effect of the single slit experiment, right? Where you shoot a particle through a slit, and when it hits the wall, the photographic plate, if you are observing it, it hits as a particle. If you're not, it hits as a waveform, right? And in the waveform, that's where miracles happen. When you're not observing and holding whatever you're looking at as the reality where, if it's broken, it's broken. And you're so fixed on that, you're fixated on the fact that something is broken, that it remains broken. Whereas if you can get your mind off of it, it's possible that your broken leg could not be broken in the next minute, right? Which is similar to Catherine, where she had a shoulder that was dislocated 27 years every year, at least once a year. And I worked on her online, and in that 1 hour, she was going, okay, it doesn't hurt anymore. And now her right shoulder is stronger than their other shoulder. And it hasn't dropped out since. And that's been 3 years. And it was on a Zoom call like this where I worked on her. Right. So it's all, to me, quantum. It's the torsion field of the heart. It's God up above who knows, you know, what he's doing actually. And then it's just an exchange of energy, right? And the intentionality as well, and the allowing, because we all heal ourselves. If you don't want to be healed, you're not going to be healed, because it's the person who is actually allowing the energy to move, right? And be released. Because a lot of times when we're sick or ill, it's something we're holding inside. And it's that emotion, whether it's anger or, frustration or depression or grief. And that's what eats away and causes the disease or the situation the symptoms you're noticing, right? And so when you can allow the energy to be released, which is what I feel is what's happening, right? Then you are able to heal and feel lighter and have more clarity in the mind, right? So it's all beautiful, but again, it's all about the person allowing and just being there and willing to receive the energy. And then when that energy starts to move within, then you get that healing within. And then when we do this thing with the intentions for your year, that's the same idea, right? You're giving energy to this. If you think of it as a snowball or a little seed that you have, an energy seed of your wishes for the year, and then we add energy, and it's positive energy to it, and it just allows it to come into existence, right? So anyway, that's my scientific or unscientific or take on it, because really you can't really explain it. You were, unless you have scientific electrodes and stuff on the body to pick up on the signals, and then you do all the the different tests with, your blood tests and stuff to figure out what's changing with your enzymes and all the things, chemicals in your body, right? You can't really measure it unless you have a lot of scientific devices attached, or you know what I'm saying? So the best explanation is just it's an energy exchange, and it's allowing and it's receiving, and it's that heart connection.
You're absolutely right. I think the allowing, right, it's a easy concept, right? Allow yourself, but most of us, we say we allow ourselves, but we really don't. And once you allow yourself and to be open to the possibilities, then things happen. And then we might look for scientific explanations, like you stated, but just there's lots of positive energy that from the moment we wake up, right? If we wake up in a bad mood and say, I'm in a bad mood, yeah, you're going to be in a bad mood for the entire day, right? Versus waking up, and even though you might have not be as optimistic, but just saying it, today's going to be a great day.
Well, that's why the affirmations are good, because it gets your energy pumped, right? I am the greatest. It's a beautiful day, right? But the part of it too, though, is it's the energy you put out. It's also the control you allow others to take from you, or the things you can't control to take from you, by giving the control to that. Because have you ever heard, oh, it's gonna be a bad day. It's rainy outside, it's cold, it's a bad day already, right? And you let the weather, which you have no control over. I don't know about you, but I don't. And you let the weather control how you feel from the get-go. Well, that's a really good example of how people give away the control. Or there's a storm coming in, so therefore I'm gonna get a migraine. And maybe it is what happened, but the minute you start to say that, you've already programmed yourself to get a migraine every time the barometer drops. And part of the whole equation too is allowing receiving, but also feeling worthy of receiving and deserving to receive. So it becomes a very complicated thing. It could be when or it didn't work, or you're not feeling anything, because sometimes we shut down our hearts because we've been hurt so much. So we block that feeling side of ourselves, because we've just made ourselves so strong so nothing hurts us anymore. So you can't, you don't feel as much as someone else does, or you don't cry because you've learned to not cry. So there's a lot of layers that we go through when we go down the path of healing ourselves, because I believe everybody has the ability to heal themselves. We were just, as my mother said to me, we were just taught we couldn't, because there's God inside every one of us. There's a light inside every one of us. And when I do sparkle, it just, as I said, it will activate and ignite your ability to feel your energy, your light within shining again. That's how I feel about it, right? It's not something that I'm doing so much as you're allowing yourself to light up again. You're allowing yourself to release the stuff that are not serving you anymore. And that's when you listen. You've been on my sparkle sessions before, and that's how I kind of lead it, right? It's just that's a word, the verbiage, the words I use, because I truly believe that's where the secret is. Your willingness to release, the things that are not serving you.
Well, I appreciate your words of wisdom and your guidance. I know I've benefited a lot from past experiences or interactions with you, and I've seen the positive effect that you've had on
Thank you.
many people. So, and I know that the message that you're stating, it it goes against how we've been trained, right? But I think if we allow ourselves that opportunity, not only can we change ourselves based on what you're stating, but we could also impact others in that manner. because of especially like for me as a father, right? That's something that I always try to instill with my own kids. That way they don't have to have these roadblocks and wait till they're 50 to develop that recognition. So I hope that based on the information that I gather from you, that when I talk to my kids, I'm
Right.
always kind of reinforcing that concept, so that way they could change themselves and have a better outcome for themselves.
Yeah, you mentioned something really important, like going into 2025 is how are you communicating if you have kids with your kids? Because the words we use, the things that we at 50, depend when you started. I started my journey around, I think, 2014. So that's not too long ago. So I was already set in my ways in a sense, right? I had my own kids at that time. And I had to I set on my spiritual journey because I couldn't sleep. I was under so much stress because I was doing quality ISO 9001. I got a company certified in 1 year on my own, and I was under a lot of stress, right? When I started to actually learn how to take control of my thoughts and realize I had an intuition that I didn't know I had. Because I'd say, yeah, get away from me. You're doing what? Healing? you know, go find someone else to do that on. Seriously, I used to tell that to my mom and my brother and my sister. I said, okay, do it, but stay away from me, okay? Leave me alone. Because I was a corporate, right? So when I look at myself, I've learned to kind of navigate this, and it's woo-woo, but it's not really. It's all science. That's what I keep on telling people, right? So when you talk to your kids, watch how you're talking to them. Tell them what you want them to do, not what you don't want them to do. Appreciate them too, right? And then have them say, you're feeling that way, but do you really want to feel that way? You have a choice. How we feel, we have a choice. It all depends on what you tell yourself, which is how you start to feel, and then you start to get into the emotion because of your thought that you allowed into your brain and allowed it to register to create that feeling, which then led to the emotion, which then led to all the whatever you're going through. And the stories then build up. And when the stories start, then you get into this whole thing. And before you know it, you don't even remember the real story because you've made up the story that embellishes the way you want to feel because you think that you're justified to feel that way because anybody else would have felt that way. you know, I mean, it's true, right? We feel
It's
justified in
yeah,
feeling a certain way,
especially if you look at the data right now and you listen to the news
right?
in regards to the harm that people do to themselves, especially young kids, right? They're at a very critical point where they feel a lot of pressures, like you indicated, the lack of self-worth, right? The hopelessness, the
Hmm.
fear of the future,
Right.
right? All these layers of negativity. So whatever we're currently doing in our system is not really working that well for many people. So changing the mindset and changing the perspective based on what you're stating creates other options. There's not only one way, right? There's other options that people could possibly pursue. So that way they could be happier. What good does success mean if at the end we're unhappy?
Right. It's doing the things you like to do too, and also being open and realizing everything you do, you have a choice. Right down to how you think, how you feel, and what you think you should feel. And maybe you need to say, do I really want to feel that way? And if I don't want to feel that way, what can I do to change it? So maybe you want to take my program. I have a program starting January, and it's Master the Art of You. And it's 444, four sparkle sessions, four master class sessions, and four Q&A sessions, all on Zoom. And there's a VIP one-on-one for the sparkle sessions versus a four group session, and that's a lower price point. And it's on bceofme.com. So, if people are wondering, well, I don't know how to go about it, well, you can save a lot of time by coming on the masterclass and, checking it out with me. And then the sparkle helps to accelerate the process, right? Because sparkle actually helps, and you can probably talk to that. It helps with the clarity. It helps to bring a lightness, and it helps to actually sometimes, a lot of times, physical things too, like tension release, etc., right? So I appreciate you sharing your intentions, and we should probably get the sparkle going. Are you game for that?
Absolutely.
You're absolutely okay. Because it's every sparkle is different too, because it all depends on the intention, and also, even if viewers are watching the replay, you'll still get the sparkle, because that's what how energy works. It's not limited by time or space. So the energy, if you tune into the energy of the video, you will still get it. So hint hint, you can also replay other episodes and get different sparkle intentions in that particular episode. Some are purely healing, and some have a mix, etc., right? And some are longer than others too as well. So on that note, let me see here. We're gonna do the sparkle then. Okay, so we can make you a little smaller if we wish. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is just get comfortable and then relax. And then if you want, you can close your eyes. So just imagine that there's a beautiful light coming from the heavens, and it's on this tube of light, and it's iridescent, silvery, gold, sparkly, maybe a little blue light, beautiful light blue, and it's streaming through into your crown, at your crown chakra, into your body, to all the nooks and crannies, everywhere in your body, to all the cells, the organs, the fibers, everywhere it needs to go. And as you breathe in all the goodness, all the blessings, all the nourishment. And just allow, as you breathe out, everything that doesn't serve you to go out through the window, through the door, through the cord at the bottom of your foot, to your very own special crystal, where it gets nourished, it gets grounded with Mother Earth healing energy, wisdom of the ages, and then it gets cleansed by Mother Earth healing energy, and then allow that cleansed energy in the crystal to come back up through the cord of the other foot. Join this beautiful circuit of healing energy from the heavens, and just allow that energy to go through you, breathing in all the goodness, all the blessings, and let out anything that's not serving you: regrets, sorrows, disappointments, frustrations, blame, shame, grief, sadness, regrets, everything that doesn't serve you. Any aches, any pains, any tension, just allow that to be released too. If you want to get rid of it, just allow. Just feel that energy moving through you, going to all the nooks and crannies. Then what I'd like you to do is think about that special intention, those special words that you have out for 2025. Just bring them into your mind and just think about the goals and your hopes and dreams for your year of 2025. And then what I would like you to do is to see yourself at the end of the year, December 31st, 2025. And just picture yourself in the place that's going to be the culmination of your hopes and dreams for the year of 2025. Where would you be when all your dreams and goals for the year have come to pass? And see yourself with people around you who are there to celebrate with you this beautiful, beautiful achievement of your goals and dreams for the year. And see who is around you and smell the smells. Maybe it's cooking beautiful, your favorite dish. Maybe it's flowers and magnolia. Maybe it is a certain scent, essential oil or fragrance that you love. Maybe it's a beach, the sea salt from the sea. And maybe it's just fresh air. And just breathe in the smells and see the sights of what it is that you will see when you've arrived at your beautiful end result for 2025. And just feel that feeling. Have that smile on your face with that feeling of accomplishment, celebration, giving thanks for a beautiful year that just happened so nicely, so easily, with such grace, with so much joy and fun and abundance and health. Just feel that energy. And as you breathe in all the goodness, all the blessings, all the magic, all the synchronicities, breathe in all the beautiful people, the things that are happening that are going to be there for you this year. And just feel the tension leaving, the worries. Feel everything that's not serving you leave through the window, through the door, through the cord at the bottom of your feet. And then just allow yourself now to get energized with sparkle energy. And just feel the energy at your navel, your dantian, your energy center, and just feel that energy, allow it in. As I send you sparkle to give you some energy to go into the new year with joy, with love, with peace. And focus. When you're ready, you can open up your eyes and get back here. How was that?
Great, and I look forward to reconnecting with you again at at the end of the 2025 and going over all the amazing things that that was able to accomplish throughout the year, focusing on my three words.
Right.
And I
Well, I'm looking
appreciate.
forward to even sooner. Come on sooner, like after first quarter, and let me know what's happening.
Thank you,
Because
and I appreciate all the positive energy that you've sent my way because I know it's going to make a difference and getting me moving in the right direction.
oh yeah, you're welcome. I hope I didn't turn off the sound of my um thing, but yeah. So um yeah, if you can come on again and then update me on the first quarter, that'd be great. Because it was good, right? What are you
Yeah, it was
noticing in
great.
your body right now?
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited in regards to the new beginning for the new year. I feel cleansed. Right? I don't have all the layers of stuff. I don't feel the weight of the year. I'm very optimistic and I feel, like I said, cleansed and re-energized.
What is it different from when you told me about your intentions at the beginning of the call
Yeah, it is because it felt heavy.
before?
Yeah, before it just felt, oh my God, we're at the beginning of the new year, right? I felt the weight of the year.
Uh-huh.
And now it's like, I feel that's doable. I feel that is not as heavy for me, that I feel optimistic. I feel like I have lots of positive energy and I'm looking forward to the year.
Wow. So that's a big shift, right, for you, it sounds,
Oh, yes, it is.
right? Because you can tell a lot from how you're feeling in your body. So is your body feeling lighter?
It is. Other than the food that I've eaten during this festivities, right? It is feeling lighter. Like I don't feel the weight on my shoulders. I might feel it on my stomach, but I don't feel it on my shoulders.
Yeah, because it is actually pretty pressing, right? When you feel it is actually a physical feeling.
Mhm.
And when you can release that, it's really, really good. So tension, usually that's accompanied with tension in the shoulders and the neck. Were you tense before and where are you now?
Yeah, I was tense before.
Now where are you now?
Now, like if we had to rate it from 1 to 10, I was at an 8 or 9
Wow,
before,
okay.
and now I'm like a 2 or 3.
Wow, pretty good. Hey,
Mhm.
that's better
Yeah,
than a massage.
yeah, yeah, it is.
And I didn't touch you. And what you're describing is not is actually quite common when I work on people. Even I actually do most of the work on Zoom when I work with my clients, right? So what about thoughts? Because I know you're a thinker because you're a prof too, right? So you think a lot. So before the sparkle session, what was your head feeling like inside? And where is it now?
Yeah, before I had my list. Like you said, I'm a big thinker and a big list creator. Right? So I had many items on my list, and now it's like one, it's like I could bundle them instead of saying, one through 10. Now I'm saying, well, what's the theme? What's the category? So that way I don't have 20 items. I just maybe have two or three categories that all kind of connect to one another, and it makes it easier for me to kind of attack the problem or or move forward in my year.
So this just happened just in the last 5
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. Since you and I have started logging on and talking.
Okay, so that happened since you've been on the call tonight. It just organized itself.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's interesting because I had someone who gave me a similar description after I sparkled her. And what she said is before she was just really concerned. She had her mom who wasn't sick and she was traveling here and there because she's an IT problem solver, right? So she traveled all over trying to help people with their problems, and plus she had personal things going on and everything was just crazy. And she said after the sparkle session, she felt like everything just got into compartments in her brain. It was like they were ordered in like in little boxes. And all of a sudden she was calm because she felt she it was all organized and she felt like she could just go to any box and pull out what she needed at any time. So it was no longer this, oh my God, there's so many things. It was just she said just calm. It was just zen, you know?
Yeah,
So
that's kind of
that's
like what I'm feeling. It's the boxes, the compartmentalizing everything and creating greater structure and order.
because you described it as groupings, but then you felt you could go and just pull what you wanted out, right?
That's correct. I can see the connections.
You can see the connections. Oh, that's interesting. I guess she had said it in the same way. She said it was in boxes and she could just get what she wanted when she wanted it. Right? But you actually are seeing connections. So
That's
that's what
correct.
Sparkle does, because this is common when I work on people. So imagine if you could use this in a boardroom when you're getting together to do something with a group of people and everybody gets a sparkle and all of a sudden everybody's brain is organized.
Well, I think that would really be helpful because as you know, ba- I'm sure you're aware of this. Whenever you go to board meetings, you come out stressed. Like, it
Well,
doesn't,
it's not even
right?
that. When you go into a board meeting, I always see, when I was in corporate, I would kind of picture everybody, and you have people who have their kids, they have their people are sick, their parents, and I could just see their brain, and they're thinking, I have to pick up dry clean. Oh, I have to go check on my daughter. I have to phone my husband. I have to check on my mom. You know what I'm saying? And on the boardroom, the topic is there, but the brains are all it's kind of there, but they're here. And if you do sparkle, imagine all the brains focus because they're able to now put that down and focus. New product coming out. Anyways, it was a pleasure having you on, Gonzalo. I'm so happy. I'm looking forward to first quarter. End of that, you coming on the show. First and third Wednesday, right? Is when we roll, and usually at 5 p.m. Pacific time. And it was great chatting too. So I wish you all the very best for 2025 and stay in touch. Come on again.
Sure.
And
If I could just say something, Michelle, for all the audiences out there, because I think I heard you say that you're going to be posting the recordings or people will be having access to this at a future date, just in case if they weren't able to attend. So for all those audience members out there, if you have a chance, I strongly recommend that you attend the Zoom sessions because you get a lot. You get a lot from the recordings, but there's nothing like talking and engaging with you and having
Well,
you
thank you.
uh, push out that positive energy. So I strongly recommend that people attend your sessions because there's a lot of there's a lot of benefits that not only spiritually, emotionally, but also physical benefits that people will receive.
Right. So the sparkleexperienceshow.com is a website, and you can get the links to get on the calls, the live Zoom calls. The links are up there right now. And you can also get the link to go to the YouTube channel, which is at the Sparkle Experience Show. And that YouTube channel has playlists, and there's a whole bunch of information on there. One thing plug I'd like to put on there is that if you have health issues, there is a little device. Ron Levinson and I am helping him to promote it in the world, because this little device is similar but totally different than an air purifier. It not only purifies the air, sterilizes the air, but it sterilizes everything it touches. It will also kill COVID in 0.44 of a second. It kills E. coli, salmonella. It will get rid of dust mites off your mattresses. It will sterilize, get rid of VOCs, volatile organic compounds in your air. It will get rid of, neutralize radon gas and CO2 and or carbon monoxide and H2S. It does so much. Mold will not grow in it. So if you have a mold problem, or you suspect a mold problem in your home, which 70% of buildings have in the US, and I think 50% in Canada, mold cannot grow in it. I have my own home experiment, and it's on about 11 minutes into the 33rd episode. You'll see my mold, you'll see the cheese, and I give the description of what the mold experiment shows. The mold will not grow in it. So you fill up your house with this cold oxygen plasma, and then once it's in the house, your everything is sterilized. So you have pet, it gets rid of pet dander. Allergies, oh my goodness, you're gonna be loving it. COPD, episode 25, there's a lady who came on, and her mom, COPD is the nebulizer is no longer needed. 3 months after, no attacks, right? And her COPD almost killed her. So from zero, from almost killed to zero attacks, and her dementia is improving with this unit in her bedroom. Okay, so I'd really like to make a plug. I think every home needs to have one of those, because Parkinson's, average age of getting Parkinson's is 60 years old. And there's a study I covered on one of the episodes in Mississippi, where 2.5 nanometer particles in the pollution in the air is worse. 56% of the population has Parkinson's. So it's a pretty, very convincing correlation between having air pollution with a 2.5 nanometer particles, which your body cannot get rid of, and that you can actually put this little unit in, it takes it out of your air in your home. It's an amazing unit, right? So anyways, thank you for sharing what you think about the Sparkle Experience Show, Gonzalo. I never expected that. And yes, it is self-funded. It is 2 years now. Do come on and share it, and let's get people helping more people with this. So that's all. So we'll see you again on the third Wednesday. Again, the link is on the Sparkle Experience Show, and you'll be able to find it there. So good night. Happy New Year again, and we'll see you again on the Sparkle Experience Show. Bye for now. See you again.